I'm the High School Hall of Fame Committee Chairperson and recently accepted the role of the new Activities Director. This evening will not be about me, it's about our inductees. So we're going to celebrate and have a good time. I'm going to do this short and sweet, and I'm going to turn it over to our Master of Ceremonies and the voice of Hibbing High School hockey, Mr. Dan Darich.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the historic Hibbing Memorial Arena. And I say that because that's the opening that I had for a few years here in this wonderful arena. I welcome all of you. This is the 11th class of Hall of Fame inductees for Hibbing High School. Whereas thank God, it's fantastic. Congratulations to all the winners here that are going to be officially inducted this afternoon. Very richly deserved. You made an indelible mark, not only on Hibbing High School and athletics, but the school itself, the community, your families, and to everybody that enjoyed watching you, whatever sport you did in your high school days. So congratulations to all of you. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Keith Jody. Keith has been our activities director for the past 4 years, and I know he's sitting back there, and we're not wanting to sit in the weeds back there, but Keith, you've been here for 4 years. You left a great mark in Hibbing High School. Be proud of your accomplishments that you've done with all the activities at Hibbing High School. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of pride. You've got a lot of great people working for you and alongside you, me being one of them. And let me just say that it's been an honor to work with you and for you. And Keith is moving on to the Minnesota North Colleges system. And they just gained a great asset. So with that, Keith, congratulations, thank you, and best wishes on your new venture. And to Mr. James Blaze, congratulations on being the new activities director. I know you do a great job, James. You've got a lot of support behind you, alongside you, and we look forward to working with you in the future. So, also like to acknowledge Hibbing Public Access TV here this afternoon. Mr. Ron Merkla is here recording everything. I know he's getting those cards from you. This is not live on HPAC right now, but he's recording it. And simply if you go to their website, hpat.org, you can access this program through many different video streams. Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. You can download the new Hibbing Public Access TV app for your iPhone and Android devices. So, just wanted you to be aware of that. So when you leave here today, if you want to watch it or record a copy of it for yourself for a keepsake, you can do that. So Ron, thank you. We appreciate you being here today and always supporting the community. All right, let's start out with our first inductee. What? I expected you. The cheaters. Mr. Dennis Ches, was a graduate of Hibbing High School in 1964. While in high school, Dennis was a member of the varsity basketball team in 62 through 64, and a member of the varsity tennis team from 1960 through 64. Denny made a name for himself in the tennis world during his high school days, becoming Region 7 champ in 1963 and 64, and state runner-up in 1964. Denny would be able to take his tennis career to the next level, receiving a scholarship to play tennis at the University of Minnesota from 64 through 68. While at the U, Denny would be a semifinalist at the Big Ten Championships in 1968. Denny would also return home and play competitively in Hibbing, winning the Hibbing Open from 66 through 69, as well as earning a #1 ranking in the Midwest for tennis players ages Danny would follow up a successful tennis career by staying active in his later years in competitive water skiing, placing 23rd in a U.S. Nationals Championship event in Bakersfield, California in 1989 through 2000. Danny became a doctor after his collegiate career and practiced medicine in California as an emergency medicine physician up until his untimely death in 2020. I don't believe there's anyone here to receive his plaque in his honor, but please, let's have a warm round of applause for Danny Schiff. Our next inductee, Mr. Pat Furlong. Pat started playing hockey and all the other sports at the age of 4. The Hibbing Memorial Building became a second home for him, along with the playgrounds, equipment, outdoor rinks, tennis courts, softball and baseball fields, and a football practice field. Pat was a member of a variety of youth sports teams under the Hibbing Athletic Association. He played football, hockey, baseball, and softball. He also was a member of the Hibbing Figure Skating Club to improve his skating skills. Pat's youth hockey coaches, Mr. Matt Berglich and Mr. Bruno Zanoni, were excellent mentors that helped him develop his skills. In high school, Pat was coached by Albert Salvad as a quarterback, George Burbage as a center, and Stan Peterson as a first baseman. He really enjoyed his time in high school in both the classroom and sports. Pat is very proud of lettering 3 times, being named the co-captain with John Fearing, and being named all-conference in hockey as a senior. Pat was recruited to play college hockey and ultimately chose to play for the University of Minnesota under the legendary coach John Mariucci. During his freshman year of college, Pat earned his freshman letters, and then 3 varsity letters. He played with great players and was a part of 2 Big Ten championship teams. During his senior year, they just missed out on winning their way to the Final 4 National Championship Series. Upon graduating college in 1966, Pat started his 40-year career of teaching distributive education, coordinating on-the-job training programs, advising the DBCA program, and coaching hockey at Mount Westonka High School. Pat's teams won 8 boys conference titles and 2 girls conference titles. He coached 30 years with the boys and 10 more years with the girls programs. Pat retired from Mount Westonka and then coached at various high schools for 12 more years. In Pat's 52-year coaching journey, he helped coach the Eden Prairie girls hockey team to a 29-1-1 record that culminated in a state championship. Pat has coached in about 1,100 hockey games, with his teams winning around 650 games. Pat is a member of the Mount Westonka High School Hall of Fame and the Minnesota High School Hockey Coaches Association Hall of Fame for both boys and girls hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming and inducting Mr. Pat Furlong to the
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? All right. I want to thank the committee that elected me as part of this Hall of Fame. I guess at my age, they probably wanted to get me in there before I passed away. But anyway, I'm really thrilled to be in the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame. I just visited Hibbing High School, and I read all the way down the line, and there's one guy there that
George Sismo, who used to be with Hibbing High School executive committee, or executive for a working situation. He worked at my dad's gas station on 6th and Howard, the Shell station, before it became Zemmy's, and I don't know what it's called now. But anyway, he always said that possibly the greatest athlete in Hibbing was a guy named Blackie St. Julian, and this goes way, way back. He was there. So if anybody knew him, he was really something special. So I just look at that and say, oh, geez, if I'm in the same group, that's pretty good. But I want to thank my family. My brother Larry is here. My sister Punky is here. My wife Chris is here. And Larry's wife Kathy, and then grandkids and so forth, children and grandkids. I want to thank them for being here, particularly Pat, because Pat's the one that put my name in and said, hey, you know, Uncle Pat should be part of that Hall of Fame. So I really thank Pat for doing that. But I want to basically just talk a couple of things, a little bit out of the sports situation. But I was a school teacher for 40 years, and I really loved teaching school. And every day I would go to school, and this is honest truth. I would say a short prayer. Thank you, dear Lord, that I get to go to a job that I really like going to. So I just feel so fortunate that I was able to teach and coach all those years. And then a couple little funny things. One day a kid in class came into me and he said, Mr. Furlong, you're Mr. McHale down the hall said you were a simpleton. Looked at the kid and I said, what? And he said, yeah, Mr. McHale said you were a simpleton. He said, geez, he's a good friend of mine. That kind of surprises me. Why don't you go back and check with him, and then come on back tomorrow, let me know what he says. So the kid came back the next day. Oh, he said, Mr. Furlong, I got just a little bit wrong. He said, Mr. McHale didn't say you were a simpleton. He said you were simple. And I smiled at the kid, and I said, I am simple. There's no question about it. Now let's jump way back to when I was about 10 years old. I'd been here at the Hibbing Memorial Building playing hockey, and I got home, and I could not wait for the phone to ring. Finally, the phone rang. Picked up the phone, and I'm talking on the phone. And somebody must have said, I was warning hockey. So I went on and on about the number of goals I scored and the number of assists that I had. And I felt pretty good about that. And I hung up the phone, and my mother looked at me and she said, young man. And whenever she started a sentence with young man, you knew you didn't want to hear the rest. So she said to me, young man, I'll give you credit for being pretty good, but you're not as good as your father was. And if you ever do get to be pretty good, someone else will talk big for you. You do not have to do it for yourself. And I've never forgotten that. I see Coach in the back from the Bulldogs, and he's going to be coming up shortly. And I don't care if a kid is 5 years old or a kid is playing in the NHL. My way of looking at it is a player can do two things. He can either help a teammate up, or he can push a teammate down. In my 52 years of coaching high school hockey, I only allowed for helping a teammate up. Never did I push kids down, and never did I allow any of my players to push any other kids down. I got one more short story to tell you, and I'll sit down, and I thank you for listening to me. One day, I was about 14 or 15 years old, and I was working at my dad's gas station, and a big truck came in, 10 after 8 in the morning. And in the back of this truck were either 4 or 6 big tires, and Martin Bond was driving that truck, and he was going down into the lines and helping change some tires on some big equipment. And I went to go past and complain on him to gas up his truck, clean up the window and so forth. And he stopped me and said, "Pat, you are a lucky boy." And I knew I was fortunate having my mom and dad and my brother and sisters. And I looked at him just out of curiosity, I guess, and I said, "Mr. Bond, why do you say that?" And he looked back at me and pointed over to my father, and he said, "Because he is your dad." Thank you.
Next is Charles George Lumac, but we all know and love him as Babe. Babe is a Hibbing High School class of 1968 alum, who lettered in both baseball and hockey in his prep days. After graduation, Babe attended Hibbing Community College and the Weldon-Stetton Umpiring School in Daytona Beach, Florida. Babe went on to umpire all levels of amateur baseball in Minnesota and throughout the Midwest, including Big Ten baseball from '79 to '93. Professional baseball's minor leagues and Major League Baseball spring training games also were in his list of accomplishments. Additionally, Babe umpired the American Legion World Series in 1983, Little League World Series in 2000, and the Junior League World Series, where he was awarded the McAllister Memorial Umpire Award for exemplifying the spirit of Little League Baseball. Babe has also served as a regional scout for the Kansas City Royals. During his tenure, Babe has officiated in 20 state baseball tournaments, 15 state softball tournaments, and 15 state baseball tournaments, as well as officiating hockey, football, and volleyball. Babe has been inducted into the Minnesota USSSA Hall of Fame, the Minnesota Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, and the American Legion Baseball Hall of Fame, and was honored by the Minnesota State High School League for over 50 years of service. Babe has been the ultimate ambassador of goodwill, sportsmanship, and fair play for youth, prep, and college sports. It's an individual honor to welcome and induct officially into the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, Mr. Babe Lumac.
All right, before I start, I'm gonna go down the hill. You can boo me now, or you can boo me later. I'm a Yankee guy since 1961, and I'm an umpire. So if you're gonna boo me now. Thanks, Mr. Please and the committee for choosing me. It's an honor to be here in Hibbing. Worked at the school a little bit, great school. People come by all the time. Bob Dylan, went to see the auditorium, stuff like that. First of all, my family's over there. Jill and Jamie, my daughters, Eli, Luca, Maisie, and Lincoln. And my stepson, better watch yourself. It's a cop in Hibbing. So don't do anything bad, we'll pick you up. And his wife, what's her wife's name? Tina Tina. All right, let's get the ball rolling here. Graduated in '68. I played some hockey. In Hibbing, played baseball in Hibbing. But I got a bad story to tell you. Me and Pat Milinovich, who was one of my idols, Joe Milinovich, and brought me into baseball and softball, all sports. I was a goalie. Look at my face. I was a goalie grade. Right there's the nets, right there's the nets. So I was playing like the second game of the year. I was a goalie. Me and Pat split games. And we were playing the Falls every day. And all of a sudden I got lit up. 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 7 goals. We got beat like 13-2. I was the goal. Okay. So after the game, we go into the dressing room, and I put my head down, and I didn't do a very good job. And so the trainer looked at me, and he says, "Babe, what the heck's on your shoulder? What is that stuff?" And I said, "Jesus Christ, don't you know? The red light went on, I got out sunburned." You know. But anyway, we got fun there. And I graduated in '68, so then I decided to go down to school down in Beach, Florida. Harry Winstead, his son, is now a major league umpire. Went down there for 6 weeks, learned a lot. 1970, I got hired in Northern League Baseball, the real Northern League, with Sioux Falls, Watertown, St. Cloud, and Aberdeen, which is Baltimore's one team. They had good ball players. They had Al Bunbury. I had Don Bullock playing, major league players. I had a ball there. One game I was humping for Al Bunbury, played for Baltimore, a little short guy, made it to major leagues. And I struck him out of the borderline low pitch. He looked at me and said, "Hey." He threw his bat up in the air, and I said, "Al, you know what? If the bat comes down, hits the ground, you're out of here." The bat came down, he was out of here. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. But I'm gonna go back there a little bit. I just want to thank some people here that brought me here and was inspired me into refereeing, which would be Joe Milinovich, Kate Brock from Hibbing Junior College, Jim and Jerry Lipovitz, Lolly Frickman, Rick Tanner knows. And so they're the one that inspired me to keep on refereeing, which I did. So after I did the Northern League, and I worked 2 years there, and I was kind of put in a bad position because at that time there was no really expansion teams, no Florida, no Colorado. So I know to myself to move up, and unless an umpire, and you know me, fired as an umpire, the union protects you, and unless you die, the movement, but I still got with it, and then Watertown, South Dakota dropped out. So then I got into, I called the Big Ten office, and Dick Seawood was there, and he hired me for my first games in Big Ten baseball in 1979, and I worked until 1991, 92, and then they had a rule where you gotta live in a big city to work regional games, and I was in Hibbing, and because of my family, I did not want to move on to Hibbing, but Big Ten baseball was good to me, and I always worked Gophers and Twins game before the season started. So in 1987, Kirby Puckett was batting, and it was a fun game, 8,000 people right before the season starts, part of the game. And I struck Kirby Puckett out on a borderline low pitch. It was a fun game, but I struck him out and said, "Hey man, that was low." And so my back got out of a fun game. So next year I arrived, the same game. I'm up in third base. Home, we were in third base. So before the game even started, this is Kirby Puckett. I'm the peon for Kirby Puckett. And he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, that pitch was still low. I remember that from last year." You know, so it's kind of a cute thing, you know. And then I worked the '83 World Series for Legion Baseball, which was in Fargo. And I'm going to go to the Yankees now, so don't boo me. Okay. The main speaker, Bobby Richards, played second base for the Yankees. Bill Scully, this is at the Baker, first base for the Yankees. Johnny Blanchard, catcher for the Yankees. And Roger Maris was hi to him and stuff like that. And Bobby Richards, 1962 World Series, caught the last ball for the Yankees to win the World Series. A line drive by Willie McCovey. And the Yankees won the World Series. And on that team was my idol, all sports, probably never heard of him, except for Rick Terry, Tom Tresh. He was a left fielder winning the year to the Yankees in 1962. And he was my idol. So that was a blessing in disguise. So then I went on 2000. I'll cut the short version here. And I said, I want to work for the World Series. You know, and I said, I want to go to those hills. And someday I want to work that. So I wrote to the district office. And they picked one umpire every year. When you work a Little League World Series, you just work the World Series. You got to go to a regional. So I put my name in there. And in 1997, I got a call to work the regional in Indianapolis, Indiana. And 16 umpires. But if you're umpiring, you better hope Minnesota loses because you're not going to win a championship game. So anyway, I kept on getting picked. And so anyway, the championship game comes, and I was picked on the hall. I was picked to work the plate on ESPN. And who's announcing the game? Aaron Boone's brother, Bob. Bob Boone is announcing the game. Yankees, Bob Boone. So I worked. So I went to the Little League World Series. I worked a couple of years, and I was working the plate. I think Texas and somebody. The first games of the season, Jill was there, my daughter, and getting my stuff off, dressing to come out, and all these people right here and there, and it was a big crowd. And Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams, he was there. He threw out the first pitch. I had no camera, I had nothing. And there's a lady there and says, hey, do you mind your picture for Kevin Costner? I said, Kevin came over nice. Got a picture taken with him. They just from New York. She sent it to me in the mail. So that was good. Okay, worked that. So anyway, came down to the end, the last 2 games. The Europe Championship game and the U.S. Championship game. So Iowa was still playing, so they're in my region. So anyway, I got picked to work the international championship game between Japan and Latin America. And Japan really won that game. The game went good. So then my name was out there a little bit. So then the Senior Little League World Series, which was in Bangor, Maine. And so they asked me to, I actually take that back. I had to go to Fort Wayne. I had to go to Peru, Illinois to work the regional there. So I worked the regional there. Then a year later, I got picked up with that World Series, which was in Bangor, Maine. And the field is Stephen King, the author, built the field. Okay. And his house was on the hill. Stephen King, the author. So if you ever watch the show The Shining, that's what Steve King's house was. You know, the bats on it and stuff like that. So that was fun. So then I waited, and in 2014 I got called to work 2007 I got to work the Junior Little League World Series in Detroit, Michigan, Taylor, Michigan actually. But I had to work the regional, so I had to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to work the regional. They only take one umpire, so then I had to wait till 2014. Then they called me up to do the Junior League World Series, and I did that. So I did that, and through the League World Series, I'm fine with that. So, all right, I'm going to go back a little bit. I did a lot of refereeing. Probably had the best partner I ever had there, Southie, tonight. I worked 40 years with him. Great guy. We worked good together. I think some common sense, and we had great times together, and we worked hard at it, and I thought we did a pretty good job. Then Gary decided to hang it up a little bit, and we got a guy by the name of Travis Lockey from Chisholm. Young guys, okay, I'm going to take young legs at my age. So I got him, and I got a guy by the name of Dave Clement. If I got a flight tire in Hill City, Dave Clement was there. A great guy, just a great guy. But I'm going to go back to my son-in-law, who's Cody, right over there. Cody did a lot of work for me. I'm out doing baseball, fix my car, fix my window, fix this. Cody was there, okay? And so I guess I did okay, but it was a lot of fun. And before I ended
In 7th grade, she made the varsity golf team and won her first individual tournament in 8th grade. She learned in golf 6 times, captain for 3. She lettered, in golf 6 times, was captain 3 years, and won 16 high school tournaments. She was a 2-time Section 7 AA winner, selected to the IRC golf team, and IRC Player of the Year her senior year. In addition to the high school season, she played in the Minnesota Golf Association Junior Series, where she won numerous times, qualified for the MWGA State Match Play, finished 3rd in the MGA State Meet, and qualified for the Summer Players Series for 5 years. She also participated in tennis, swimming, figure skating, band, National Honor Society, speech, mock trial, and was on the honor roll. Upon her graduation from Hibbing in 2006, Laura played golf at the University of St. Thomas for 4 years. She was a 2-time first-team All-American and received honorable mention All-American twice. She won the MIAC tournament as an individual twice, won 4 consecutive tournaments during her sophomore year, and won 8 meets in her junior and senior year. She was ranked as high as 5th individually in the country and placed 10th at nationals as a freshman. Laura was a 6-time MIAC Athlete of the Week and was 2007 through 2008 and 2008 and 2009 MIAC Player of the Year. She was inducted into the University of St. Thomas Athletic Hall of Fame in 2019. Laura is honored to be inducted into the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, which has so many elite athletes. She is grateful to her Hibbing High School coaches, Steve Bishop, Steve Jackson, and especially Craig Devon, for teaching her the fundamentals of the game and encouraging and supporting her development towards competitive collegiate play. Lastly, she would not be here without her wonderful parents, Drs. Mike and Karen Beck, and brother Chris, who have supported and encouraged her throughout her golf career. Laura is forever thankful for all of their sacrifices. She is proud of her accomplishments and hopes to pass the love of the game to her children, David and Amelia, as well as her husband, Mitch, just as her parents did with her. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming and inducting to the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, Laura Hepp.
Today that have been inducted, and so for Andrea and I to be here, that's an amazing accomplishment as 2 female athletes. Being a high school athlete was one of the best experiences of my life. Mr. Haddam, who was over there, had such an instrumental role in everything that we did, along with Dr. Ben Owens. When Mr. Haddam was giving us dropping us off, and he was talking with Dr. Owens. And poor Mr. Haddon's van was riding on the wheel because we had completely overpacked his van. But playing golf was such an incredible opportunity. From a young age, I was out at the golf course on Tuesdays with my grandparents and my mom. And then after high school, I was very fortunate to play in college. I played at the University of St. Thomas, and we were able to travel all over the country. And I have very fond memories of playing college golf. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play the full 4 years because of spinal surgery, but I was able to be inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame in 2019 as the first female golfer, and I am the 5th female athlete to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. So being a female athlete is very important for me to get my own daughter into athletes and everything that athletics can open up for her. But I really wouldn't be here without Mr. Haddon, Mr. Vista, and especially my parents. So it's such a wonderful honor to be here today. So thank you.
Nice round of applause to him. Kate, you forgot your pen. Our next inductee is Robin Pluffman. Robin is a graduate of Hibbing High School class of 1965. During his high school career, Robin was a 4-year record winner in both swimming and track and field at Hibbing. Robin still has the number 3 all-time throw in the shot put at 57 feet, 2.5 inches. In swimming, he was 3rd in the state in the medley relay as both a sophomore and junior, and as a senior, he was 4th in the state in the freestyle relay. In college, Robin competed for McAllister in track and field, and still owns the indoor shot put record he set in 1969. After college, he used the skills learned from Pop Lukens and Carl Allison and returned to swimming. He started competing in masters swimming in his 20s, setting many Minnesota state records. His first national championship wins occurred at the 1983 YMCA National Masters Swim Championships held at Chicago University, where he won and set national records in the 100 and 200-yard butterfly. Since then, he has recorded 14 national championship wins at the U.S. Masters, YMCA Masters, and Senior Games National Championship meets in the butterfly, backstroke, and individual medley events. At the time of his Hall of Fame induction, Robin is still competing, winning the 200-yard butterfly at the 2024 National Masters Swim Championships held at Indiana University. Robin is a 6-time All-American Master swimmer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming and inducting Robin into the Hibbing High School.
Hibbing has always been blessed with great teachers and great coaches. My coaches were Pop Lukens and Carl Allison. I made the swimming team in the 8th grade, and I still remember the first meeting we had with Pop, where he laid out the rules. And here's what he said. When you're on the swimming team, swimming comes first. No, that's not what he said. Schoolwork comes first. Swimming comes second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And he enforced that rule in ways that can't be done today. But back then, at the beginning of the swimming season, the grades had just come out on one of those marking grades. And Pop's rule was if you did not have a 2.0, if you got a D, or if you got an F, you were going to get some slots. And back then, the boys' team swam practices without suits. So, if you didn't have a 2.0 or had a D or an F, you lined up and you dropped the paddle in the water, you bent over and gave you a slot. Now, I'm told at the start, I was never a recipient of one of those. I took his advice and made schoolwork number one. But the interesting thing for me was, at that first time, there would be 5 or 6 boys and a SWAT. By the end of the swimming season, 2 marking periods had come and gone, and on that last marking period, there was not a swimmer or a diver without a SWAT. He took to heart what he said about making schoolwork number one. And that's really a good way to set priorities in your life. Find what's number one in your life and work. Things that are second, third, and fourth, put down. Now, when I graduated from Hibbing, I planned to swim at McAllister when they were NAIA National Swimming Champions. But in those days, these wonderful little goggles that all of us swimmers wear had not been invented. We swam with our eyes in the coordinated water open. And you do that for an hour and a half, and you sting and water so much in the eyes that you can't see anything. And for me, McAllister was a tough school. 4 hours of class a day, 8 hours of study and reading. And trying to do that with your eyes stinging and watering all the time was not easy. So I took out the easy life, the life of a shopkeeper. I ate as much as I wanted. I lifted weights. I threw an iron ball around making loud grunting noises. It was a lot of fun. Swimmers, on the other hand, 6 o'clock in the morning practice, 2 o'clock in the afternoon practice, and then all the study. But after I graduated from college, all of that shotgunning weight which I picked up here began to slide. And it dropped down to my midsection. And so in my mid-20s, I thought, I better get back in the pool and see if I can lose some weight. And I started to do that. And master swimming was just picking up. And I started competing again. And I had some success with that. But in my late 40s, my wife had a dream of owning and running a bed and breakfast. And being a slow learner, it took me a while to join her in that dream, but we finally did. And we developed and ran a bed and breakfast outside of Hibbing for over 15 years. And between my regular job and helping her run a B&B, I didn't have time for swimming. But that weight that I had taken off in my 20s and 30s and 40s began to reappear. And I thought, okay, it's time to get serious and get back in the water. So I started swimming again, and then I got cancer. It really opened my eyes. Now, I told the guy on that from the newspaper I wasn't going to get emotional, so I'll try not to. But thank God I have been cancer-free for almost 12 years. And I do that. In my late 60s, I started to compete, and I've had a lot of success in my 70s in age group swimming. I swim masters this age group. I'm now in the 75 to 79 age group. Now, folks, I have to tell you, the older you get, the slower you get. I work very hard trying to slow down how fast I'm getting slower. The times I do now would have been slow for me when I was in the 9th grade on the Hibbing High School team. But they're really fast in the 75 to 79 age group because most of my competition is dead. I really appreciate this honor. I appreciate Hibbing, the teachers and the coaches, and what I learned from them.
Our next group is just that, a group. An extraordinary trio of men. A very special trio of men to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And those Those three gentlemen are Joe Roberts, Gary Kleffman, and Jerry Scott. This trio of Hibbing graduates have made a name for themselves throughout the state and the world as elite level curlers. Starting during their high school years and continuing on into their adult lives. From 1969 through 1977, curling was a state high school league sanctioned sport. And these three led Hibbing to 3 straight state championships. From 69 through 71, with Gary and Jerry being a member of all 3 titles, and Joe being on the 1970 team as a senior. After high school, Gary and Jerry would find themselves together curling in the United States Junior National Championship in 1974, where they would finish 4th in that world tournament. Then, in 1975, Gary and Jerry were once again joined by Joe, and then embarked on an unprecedented run in the curling world. In 1975, they would win the Minnesota State Championship and go on to finish 2nd at the United States Nationals, where Jerry would be selected as the All-Star lead. Then, in 1976, this trio would lead their team to district, state, and national titles. The team then moved on to the Air Canada Silver Group, with 10 countries competing for the world title. They finished 8-1 during their round-robin play, advancing to the playoffs, where they would defeat Sweden 9-3 in the semifinals, and then top Scotland 6-5 in the finals. In 5 short years, these 3 young men went from high school champions to world champions. This trio, or a combination of this trio, would stay together long enough to win state curling championships in 77 and 78, 80, 84, and 1987. Then at the national level, Jerry and Gary were national champions in 1977, 80, and 84, with Joe joining them on the 1984 team. Finally, in 1994, all 3 of these men were inducted into the United States Curling Association Hall of Fame. Jerry, Gary, and Joe have all continued to reside in Hibbing and contribute to their communities through their family, work, and hobbies. They started curling at a young age, and all thanks to their fathers for guiding them into the sport of curling. They are also thankful for all of the ice time that they were able to have, as well as the guidance, coaching that they received at the Hibbing Curling Club from a number of experienced curlers, as well as their teacher and high school coach, John Kashigano. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a very special trio of men, Joe, Gary, and Jerry, to Hibbing High School.
Well, I guess they chose me to speak. You'll find out shortly that Jerry is very few words. But first of all, we want to thank the selected committee, and especially James Please for volunteering to do this game, as he calls it. But we also want to thank Ryan Simonson, who convinced us and helped us through the process of this nomination. And Brian himself, in 2006, received the silver gold in the men's senior division world championship. So, thanks to Brian. Brian, are you here? I guess I don't see him. But anyway, we are very honored to be among the elite groupers, the elite athletes, all of the inductees of Hibbing High School. Hibbing High School first graduated class in 1924. After 100 years, I looked at it, it probably had maybe 30,000, 40,000 graduates. And when I counted the number of elite athletes, Hall of Famers, there was less than 100. I think after tonight, it's going to be over 100. Now, my Brooklyn math in elementary tells me that's less than 1%. So we are so honored to be part of that low number to be inducted to the Hall of Fame here at Hibbing High School. So, you're probably wondering how we became a team and became so successful at it. Well, it all starts about 50 years ago. Okay, I guess we're not talking close enough to this, so. Okay. So, 50 years ago, that's almost half a century. But this is what triggered it. In 1974, I received a call from a teammate that played with us in 1971 on the state high school championship. His name was Rick Novak. He wrote a letter to the United States Curling Association requesting that the United States hold a junior national championship. See, in the past, there is a world tournament for juniors. It's held in Toronto, Canada. And they automatically will just send a team from New York, because it's just an easy drive or a short trip to Toronto. Well, his letter triggered having a tournament for the juniors. And so they approved it, and it was held down in the Twin Cities. And we were eligible, still eligible, 21 and under. And there was 8 teams competing. These were 8 state champion junior teams. Well, lucky for us, or maybe unlucky, the first team that we get to play was from New York. And when we look at this team, they were like the elite. They had the nicest sweaters, the nicest pants, nicest shoes, new equipment. And here we are. We haven't curled together for 3 years. And I think Rick brought up the old Hibbing High School windbreakers that said Hibbing High School curling permit. I don't think we washed in 3 years. We put our hands in the pockets and there's no bottom to them. So we took those off and we just wore our sweatshirts and our regular sweaters. So all the other teams had coaches. They didn't have any coaches. And so anyway, we played New York, first game. Big deal. We beat them good. So then we went undefeated. But I have to tell you, we were really lucky because the last team we played was from South Dakota. It was a young team that played together for 3 years. They were like a little machine. And at the end, the score was tied. And they had the last shot, but they had to make a difficult shot. And they missed it just by inches. So we won first junior nationals. And so now we're eligible to go to Toronto for the Worlds. And the first thing Jerry says to me, well, that's the process. Because the 2 of us are going to school, and myself and Rick Novak. Jerry was working sometimes, he was laid off. Ben Gardeski, the other member of the team, he was working plus going to school, plus he was married and had a child. So finances were a little difficult. So we found out that they were He's got his hands on the seat in front of him. They're white knuckle. And I said, Jerry, you better save some of that strength for speaking. You know, the sweat's coming down. But anyway, we landed in Toronto. Here's the sign, USA team. So they had family hopes for us. And so we're driving to their home, and this nice couple said, you know, we wish you well, but we're still hoping for Canada. But we find out when we get there, there's a team from Switzerland, and their name is the Additive Brothers. 2 weeks prior to this, they played in the men's world tournament, and they were runner-up. They played in the finals and they lost to an American team by the name of Bud Summerlin, and they lost in an extra inning. And now they're coming to the junior tournament. Now, picture this. We haven't drilled together for 3 years. All these other teams have been playing, especially the juniors, they've probably been playing 20, 30 games or more. We have 7 games under our belt that we played together. And now we're playing for the World Juniors. So, anyway, make a long story short, we went to practice, and we practiced with the other teams, and all of a sudden, an elderly fellow came up to me, and he said, you know, I'm the ice maker here. He said, I watched you guys practice. I watched everybody play practice. And he said, you know, I'm betting that you guys are winning this. Do you know what my confidence level going in there was like this? And when he said that, it was like this. You know, because he was a skilled ice maker earlier himself. So anyway, after that week of curling, we ended up winning 5 games, losing to the Canadians and to the Switzerland team. But the top 4 teams play out. And so number 1 plays number 4. And so we played Switzerland. By this time we were playing a little bit better. It ended up the game was tied at the end. And they had the last shot. And we made it as difficult for them as possible. He had a very difficult shot to win the game. But he was so skilled, he made it. And we ended up in fourth place. But the fact that we played teams that were already playing in the men's, we knew that we could compete in the men's competition as well. And so afterwards they had the closing ceremonies. They awarded the medals and things, but then they also announced the curlers, the all-world junior team. And you figure with Canada and Switzerland won it, by the way. And so the lead was from Canada, the second was from Switzerland, and then they said the third was the USA, Jerry Scott. He was all-world third, which proves that his shooting percentages his sportsmanship, and then as a vice skip. You know, so pretty proud of that. So, but one thing we found out, you know, at the ceremony, at the closing ceremony, at the banquet they had, we found out that the Canadian beer is stronger than the American beer. But anyway, so we're coming back to Minnesota, fly there, and it just happens we came down, this arena right here, the last chance was on. There's 128 teams from all over the United States. It's the largest bonds field in the United States. And Jerry and I are watching that spot, a famous curler by the name of Bruce Roberts. He had a reputation of playing in the world, and you couldn't find one of the most prominent curlers at a young age. And so I told Jerry, let's see if we can play with him in the men's competition, because we know we can. So we go over, sit by Bruce, and start say, hey, Bruce, you know, we just got done playing in World Juniors. Jerry's all world third. How would you like to get together and play in the men's competition? check because it's more physical. But so anyway, Joe said he'd consider it. But I had another plan. And that plan was to introduce my sister, Nancy, who's outdoorsy. And so we dated, and I think she was able to roll in, tame him a little bit, So it became a family affair, They ended up getting married, and so that's how we put our teams together. So I think there's a couple of things. But what made this team successful, maybe Joe and Jerry can add to it, but it was the dedication we committed to the sport. It was the team chemistry that we developed. It was, and I tell you, this team was always so strong to win. And the thing is, that in a Bible, we have a strong family history. But this curling club here in Hibbing, we were fortunate enough to have previous champions that, we curled against the club. And they were great, mentoring us as we grew older. But I want to conclude, we were rink rats back when we were kids, 12 and 13 years old at this curling club. And there was times that you were 10, you were playing in the road, and you were making that last shot. And you know what? My dream came true, winning a world championship. So, Joel, Jerry,
Just want to thank the committee for this honor. These two guys, Bruce Waters, who took us to the top of the world. Thanks to my family. Thank you.
it's unfortunate that we didn't continue on with the Hibbing High School curling. It's no longer a high school sport sanction. Because we did the same thing that our fathers did to us and taught us curling. And I believe that if they had it, we've taught our boys and, curling. And I think back then, we would have maybe had some more state championships. And they were all good curlers, and they're still curling. So, but thank everybody. Appreciate it.
So nice roll. For Joe Roberts, Gary Clement, and Mr. Terry Scott. Hall of Famers, you guys roll. Our next inductee, John Ritter, Hibbing High School class of 76. 4 years varsity basketball, 4 years varsity golf, state runner-up basketball in 1976, state third place golf individual in 1976. John says, I was fortunate to have grown up in Hibbing at a great time. I had the complete support of my entire family, my parents, Mike and Marlon Redeka, my sister Margie, and my brother Mike. I spent lots of time every summer at the South Country Club, playing as much golf as possible with my friends. My brother Mike was the golf pro at MCC during this time and was the driving force in my golf development. I loved to play hockey growing up. The turning point came in 6th grade. I had to move up to Bangor, so all my friends got to play another year of Pee-wees. I decided to switch to basketball, so the journey began. We did not have a hoop in our driveway, so I spring at the Assumption Hall playground. I truly enjoyed shooting hoops by myself at the Assumption Hall. I was very fortunate to have access to two very enjoyable activities, golf at Wasapa Country Club and basketball at the Assumption Hall, and later at the Lincoln School Open gyms. These two things made all the difference in my development. The open gyms at the Lincoln School in the spring and summer were great. We played lots of pickup games with players young and old. The long days at Wasapa Country Club were also filled with great memories. One common thing with both places, we were mentored by adults, coaches, older players, and alumni. All of these people made a tremendous impact on my athletic and personal development. I cannot thank all of my coaches and teammates enough for all of the time and hard work they gave to me. Nobody starts a sports journey thinking one day they'll make it into the Hall of Fame, but I am sure everyone is very grateful to be inducted. John is honored to be in the Hall of Fame, along with the great men and women of Hibbing High School, including his father, Mario Radica. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an individual honor for me to introduce to you an official welcome to the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, John Radica.
Thank you, Dan and James. It's truly an honor to be inducted and included with all the inductees today in the high school Hall of Fame, including my father, who was in the first Hall of Fame class in 1993. I really appreciate all the family, friends, and classmates that have made the trip here to celebrate with me today. I was very lucky to have grown up in Hibbing. Many coaches, teammates, and mentors are the reason I'm at this event today. First, well, the basketball coaches, I had a lot of them. Two coaches stand out in particular. They are Gary Addington and Tom Enzo. They were varsity coaches for me in my junior and senior year. Both were in their mid-20s and starting their coaching careers. We went to open gym oftentimes. They were coaches that actually played in the games with us and taught us through their actions and not as much through their yelling and lecturing. Coach Enzo, Big A, as he was known to many of the students, who taught some really good trash and very good things. I learned some great digs and was able to take them with me on my basketball career as I continued on. Those two coaches are a definite big reason why we went to the state tournament in 1975 and 76. My golf journey had many people and mentors to thank. Summertime during the day, we spent lots of time at the South Country Club. I had a core group of 3 friends that I played golf with as much as possible. In fact, one of them, Mark Corney, is here today to celebrate. Thanks, Mark. We played, practiced, and even worked together at the country club with my brother Michael, which was Club Pro at the time. Several members, including Bob Pizzetti, Rick Whalen, and Archie Cassidy, welcomed us to play with them as we grew up. They had lots of stories, made us feel welcome in the golf community at MCC. Many of them gave us rides home before we were able to drive home in our own car and save our parents a trip out to the country club. I have lots of great memories of being at the South Country Club. So in closing, I would like to acknowledge a few people. My mother and father and brother, who are here right now, thank you. They had a great impact on my life, and I really appreciate it. My sister Margie is here today and has supported me and my family my entire life, since the day I was born. Finally, my son Anthony,
His first competitors were his cousins who taught him to be relentless. As a 7th grader, Frank's coach gave him a basketball and told him to practice all summer. In 8th grade, he was moved up to the B team, and in 9th grade to the varsity. From elementary through high school, he made great friends, had great coaches, and worked on his game. After graduating from Hibbing High School in 1968, he was offered a basketball scholarship to D1 Denver University. To get more playing time, he opted to play a season at Hibbing Junior College, where he was inducted into the Hibbing JC Athletic Hall of Fame. Later joining Denver University as a starter, he had the opportunity to travel and play with and against great players. Frank went on to finish his basketball career as a UOT Bulldog, where he earned a degree in physical education and health, and a master's degree at the University of Wisconsin Superior. He has been All-District, All-Conference, All-State, and All-American. Frank taught physical education and coached at Hermantown Schools for 34 years. He was able to share his continued passion for sports and fierce competition with his students. In 2013, he was inducted into the Hermantown Football Hall of Fame. Upon retirement, you'll still find him in a gym, following area sports teams, and still rooting for Hibbing High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming Mr. Frank Russ into the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame.
I would like to thank Jim Cleese for thanking me for selecting me for this recognition. I'm very honored to receive this award. There are many people who brought me. There are many people who brought me to this day. I want to start from the beginning. My parents, Frank and Mary Russ, always encouraged me to do my best. Despite how the beginning, they taught me that I was as good as anybody else. And with hard work, I could be even better. Their influence and work ethic shaped the person I became, and I know they were proud of me. My life is also shaped by my coaches. They amplified the messages of my parents that with hard work, we could achieve greatness. They kept me focused on my goals with basketball and academics and taught me to avoid distractions. Along with my coaches, my teammates held the same passion for the game of basketball as I did. Their tenacity and desire to be the best made me a better player. None of this would have been possible without them. I won't name them today for fear of leaving someone else, but they know who they are. The memories we made have lasted a lifetime. Finally, I wouldn't have made it this far without the support of my family. My wife Jean is my biggest champion. Between me and my two daughters, Jody and Graham, she has seen more games than Michael Jordan ever put together. When I embarked on my coaching career, Jean kept things running at home and make sure the girls were engaged, cheering for us, and learning the joy of competition. This life would not have been possible without her. With me today is Jean and my daughter Raina, son-in-law Scott, and grandson Gary. This award is as much theirs as mine. Thank you.
a decorated athlete during his prep time. Here in the high school, I learned football, hockey, and golf while at Hibbing. Scott was a member of both the third place hockey team and the third place golf team in the state while in high school. After graduating high school, Scott would go on to play collegiately at the University of North Dakota. Scott would cap off his four-year playing career in North Dakota in 1985 and 86 by being named one of the 10 finalists for the Hopi Baker Memorial Award. He captained the club that season and also was an all-WCHA first-team pick and an NCAA Division I All-American second-team selection. Named North Dakota's most valuable player as a senior after amassing a career high of 38 points in 40 games. Scott went on to play 7 years of professional hockey, including NHL stints with the Montreal Canadiens from 86 through 88, Philadelphia Flyers from 90 to 91, and the Minnesota North Stars from 91 to 92. A second-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens in the 1982 NHL entry draft, 40th overall, he was credited with 4 assists in 25 lifetime NHL outings. A back injury forced him to retire prematurely from professional ranks following the 91-92 season. He also skated for Team USA at the 1989 Goodwill Games, the 1986 International Ice Hockey Federation Championships, and the 1984 International Hockey IIHF Junior Championships. While being an excellent hockey player, one could argue that Scott has rarely truly made a mark in the hockey world as a collegiate coach. Scott served with the University of North Dakota coaching staff for 6 years, including his last 3 as an associate head coach. During his tenure in Grand Forks, North Dakota, they claimed to 2 NCAA titles, 96-97, 99-2000. 3 WCHA regular season championships from 96 through 99, 2 WCHA playoff crowns, 96-97 and 99-2000, and earned 4 straight berths in the NCAA tournament, 96 through 2000. His primary responsibilities with the Fighting Sioux were serving as the team recruiting coordinator, an academic advisor, and assisting with all aspects of practice and game preparation. Scott's next coaching stop would be where he truly left an indelible mark on the hockey world. Scott would take on the role as the head coach of the UMD Bulldogs at the turn of the millennium. During his tenure, UMD has 3 NCAA titles, made 11 NCAA tournament appearances, advanced to 6 NCAA Frozen Fours, claimed 3 conference playoff titles, 2 in the NCAC and 1 in the WCHA, and put together 12 winning regular seasons. The Bulldogs have gone 456, 388, and 101 in the past 24 seasons under his watch, making him the winningest coach in program history at UMD. Scott also boasts a .718 winning percentage off a 22-9 record NCAA tournament play to go with those 3 national title trophies, and he's still adding to his resume as of this induction. Ladies and gentlemen, real pleasure and honor for me.
I'll speak closer. I'm a coach, right? So, it's always special to come back. Certainly want to thank the committee. Special thanks to Craig Adam. I think he threw my name in there, so appreciate it, Craig. Again, congrats to all the other inductees. It's a special honor, probably a special night for all of us. So, like I said, great to come back. Kind of go off a little bit of Frank. being humble, being a good person, being a good teammate has helped me along the way. Like John, I grew up in a great time in Hibbing, right on the border of Brooklyn, which a lot of you know, a lot of funny things happen in Brooklyn. I won't get into those, but a lot of my great friends grew up there. But my neighborhood and the friends that I grew up with definitely shaped a lot of the things I am today. Grew up in a tremendous neighborhood. We did everything together. We played every sport together. Had trouble together. Anything you can imagine, plus we had influence from some older guys in our neighborhood that maybe I can't talk about. But a lot of fun things, whether it's at the Brooklyn Shack, guys making face-off dots with bloody noses, things like that, we learned at a young age that we respected some older guys. So just a lot of lessons, a lot of great times. Secondly, coaching. From Herb Hooper coaching our squirt team, selling tumblers. Again, going back to some of the values and things that you learn and practice on an outdoor rink. Right up through high school. George Purpich, Billy Olson, Billy Teacher. Great people. Three completely different personalities, but three guys that you would want to play for that helped all of us grow. I still get in arguments with my friends about we didn't learn anything. In high school hockey, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about how to treat people. We learned a lot about discipline. We learned a lot about just the freedom to go play the game. It's so different now. We're coaches in the video technology world. Probably over coach, but it was so fun to just go play and have Big George put, if you made a mistake, he was always there to put his hand on your back and go get it next time. Billy was the bad cop, and Billy Teacher was right in the middle, but just great guys to play for. Fortunately, I went on to North Dakota to play for another great group of coaches, Gino Gasparini, Dean Blaze, and John Marks. Learned a lot. Continued that into pro hockey, played for numerous different coaches, which I've kind of tried to use as my inspiration guide as a coach, things you like, things you didn't like. And to sit here and say I told you I'd be at Duluth going on my 25th year as a coach, I would have said you're crazy, but it's been an enjoyable run. Probably one of the things I like most about it is being able to recruit players for your program, work with them, watch them grow. To me, that's more important, that they leave your program in a better person, in a better spot, hopefully, whether they're going to go on to work, whether they're going to go on to play in the National Hockey League. That's what it's all about. Winning championships is a byproduct of that, and we've been fortunate to win a few at Duluth, and hopefully there's going to be more, but just want to certainly thank those people. And lastly, my wife Wendy's here for 32 years. My kids are not here. They're off doing their hockey thing, shocking, right? I want to thank her and them for, it's not an easy being a coach's wife. We're not there a lot, miss a lot of things. But she's awesome. She's the rock, and I just want to thank them. But again, very special. Thank you again for the honor. Again, it's always fun to come back, especially to this rink. Bob, if he's still there, keep doing a great job. The rink looks phenomenal. Hopefully, get back here and watch some games. But thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming.
Our next inductee, too, is not to be stranger to this arena. This young lady lit up this place. She turned on the red light more than people that scored a new game. As I witnessed it, and I was had the honor to announce every goal that she scored here as I sit in that announcing booth. And I'll tell you, young lady, something special to watch on the rink. Andrea Nichols. She is the state record holder for the amount of points scored in a high school career. In her career, 273 goals, 186 assists for a total of 459 points in 5 years of playing hockey at Hibbing High School. And in her senior year, was named Miss Hockey in the state of Minnesota. And our next inductee is Andrea Nichols-Sealing. Hockey was a core component of Andrea's life beginning at a young age. Her love for hockey led to a storied prep career where she led her team in scoring for 5 seasons, finishing with 459 career points. Again, 273 goals, 186 assists, and an announcer sore throat. Happy, I may say. And helping the Blue Jackets to 3 straight tournament appearances, including runner-up finishes in Class A in 2002 and 2003. Andrea received numerous local and statewide awards while playing for Hibbing. She was a 4-time Let's Play Hockey All-Star selection, 3-time Blue News Tribune and Hibbing Daily Tribune Player of the Year, and was named to the Minnesota State High School League All-Tournament Team in 2000, 2002, and 2003. Her senior season, Andrea was named the 2003 Associated Press Player of the Year and became the first out-state winner of the Let's Play Hockey Miss Hockey Award. 3 consecutive years, she led the state of Minnesota in scoring and was selected to participate in multiple USA Hockey Development camps and select festivals in Lake Placid, New York. Following high school, Andrea earned a scholarship to play Division I women's hockey at the University of Minnesota. She scored 80 career points playing for the Golden Gophers, was named team captain her junior and senior seasons, and helped her team win the NCAA National Championship in 2004 and 2005. After 4 years playing for the University of Minnesota and earning a degree in sports studies with a minor in youth services, Andrea had the opportunity to play 3 seasons for the Minnesota Whitecaps in the Western Women's Hockey League, winning the Clarkson Cup as league champion in 2010. Andrea is lucky and blessed with all the opportunities and relationships the game of hockey has provided for her. Reminiscing on her career, the years playing for Hibbing High School stand out the most. There is nothing like playing hockey for your community. I was very fortunate to have the endless support I had from my family and friends to make it all possible. Hibbing is a special place to play. I'll never forget the memories made playing in front of my family, friends, and community while wearing a Blue Jacket sweater. Ladies and gentlemen, join me. I can
this year with the 2024 class. I'd like to thank Amber and the committee for allowing me to be inducted this year. Also like to thank my family and friends for coming today at the front table here. But I'm not so good at public speaking as you can probably tell right now. But I always tell my 5-year-old son, something he learned last year in preschool, that we can do hard things. We can do hard things. So, anyways, I'd like to congratulate the inductees on the honor, and it's definitely an honor and privilege to be inducted into So at the end of my 6th grade year, there was this clinic that the Girl Scouts were sponsoring to get girls more interested in playing hockey. So I think my mom brought home a flyer from somewhere and was like, hey, why don't we do this? And I was like, okay. So we came on over to Hibbing because it was being put on in Hibbing. And I came out from the clinic. And I was kind of skating around and doing my thing and overcame Amber Franklin. Now all I knew about Amber Franklin was that she was the leading scorer on the most recent state championship team in '97. So I was a little starstruck when she came over to talk to me as a 6th grader. So she came over and she gave me some compliments, she introduced herself, we chatted a little bit and went on her way. She was coaching the clinic and whatnot. And then at the end of the clinic, she came over to me and she said, you know what, you need to come and play for Hibbing. And at the time, being a 6th grader, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Didn't know that was even, a possibility. So the next year went along, I played one more year of boys hockey. I was a PV, so there was checking. I played 2 years of PVs with the boys, and that's when my family started entertaining the thought of me coming over. Now at that time, girls hockey was just kind of rolling out where I lived, and they didn't know if they were going to have enough girls to even field the team that year. So my mom's from Hibbing, she works in Hibbing. I have a ton of family in Hibbing. I met all these friends while doing the clinic, and then that summer I also did the Hibbing High School girls hockey camp. So I met all the coaches and all the players, so it became kind of a no-brainer for me to come over and play, and actually play. So we lined up a few rides, some carpooling, and I began my adventure over to Hibbing. So I started varsity hockey in 8th grade. I made the team, and the rest is history, I guess, on that point. But Hibbing, like Dan said in my writing, Hibbing is a very special place to play. The program is first class. The education I received was first class, and I can't thank my parents enough for putting the sacrifices they put. To allow me to come over and play in Hibbing. I don't think I would have had the opportunities that I had if I hadn't met Amber Franklin. I just planted the seed in my head. And she might have been joking, but she planted the seed like, hey, you gotta come and play for us. We always joke, we're good friends with her to this day, but we always joke that if I only would have came over 1 year earlier, I would have played with her. Maybe we would have brought home the state championship, but that's history, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to thank my friends and family, my parents. I do not think that my mom missed one game. She was at every one of my games. She was a labor and delivery nurse at the hospital, and I laughed because even when she got scheduled maybe during a game of mine, she was on the phone immediately. Who can switch for me? Who can trade? Begging her supervisor to be on call, hoping nobody was going to go into labor that night. But yeah, I can't thank my parents enough. To my brothers, my older brother Ted, thank you for quitting basketball and getting into hockey because I followed him with everything he did. I wanted to do so. He got into hockey and I got into hockey. I'd like to thank my twin brothers, Gavin and Troy, for being drunk all over every arena in northern Minnesota until they started their careers. They're a bit younger than me, so they got to see all the arenas before they were even into hockey. And then I'd like to thank my aunt and uncle, Ron and Karen, and my grandma and grandpa, Connie and Bud. They were the family that I stayed and hung out with a lot in my high school career. I'd also like to put a shout out to a special thank you to the Walters family and the Fairchild family. They were the ones that helped me get to school when my mom wasn't able to bring me over this way. So It truly takes a village to do great things, at least in my eyes. So I can't thank everybody enough for. Sorry, I can't look at my watch. I'm crying. I can't thank my family enough, and my coaches and my teammates, and everybody that has supported me over my career. And thank you to all of the community.
Nice round for Henry Hibbing Senior. Our next inductee, Mr. Gary Salkey. Gary says, first of all, I'm a confirmed sportsman who was born in Grand Rapids and lived in Mulvey for 10 years before the family moved to Hibbing. It did not take me long to realize the potential and good opportunity of this, because in the early 1960s, Hibbing athletics was good at everything in all sports, and so the journey began. As an athlete, you always dream of making the big shot, getting the clutch hit, making it to the state tournament. In baseball, we were fortunate enough in 1967 and 68 to make it to the state tournament, coming in second in 1968. I would challenge those two teams to any team in baseball history. That's how good those guys were, and I'm proud to have been part of it. My teammates helped me make all-state team, and again feel very proud. And in 1968, our basketball team went undefeated during the regular season, the only Hibbing basketball team to do so, but lost in the regional tournament, which turned out to be the biggest disappointment in my athletic career. We had a great team, but did not come through when it counted. I received postseason awards, including being selected to the All-Tri-State team and being labeled as the best all-around player in the area. In the spring of 1968, my baseball coach, Mr. Matt Bergen, told me to be aware that 3 major league teams were scouting me during the season. After graduation, the Minnesota Twins approached and offered me a professional baseball contract to play in their minor league system. When they agreed to pay for my college education, I signed the contract and headed for Sarasota, Florida. That was an experience that I will never forget. Meeting other players from all over the world was quite interesting. These players came from California, Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, Florida, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic, and Venezuela also, to name a few. For over 3 years, I was with the Twins, and they released me citing injuries that cost me valuable playing time. So I came back to Hibbing and started a new job, becoming interested in officiating high school sports. I worked most of my games with Big Blue Man, and we developed a great partnership. What I liked was the pride, discipline, and work ethic that we displayed, which eventually got us into position of working playoff games. We as referees also have goals that includes calling the state tournaments and receiving other honors from the state high school league. I did games for over 40 years, and the positive accolades over the years have been very nice. I would like to thank Hibbing High School for this Hall of Fame award, and also for providing me with a great education. Nothing would be complete without mentioning my parents and their support over the years. They clearly helped this sports nut. Thanks to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming to the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, Mr. Gary Salkey.
And the elder statesman is Naomi Jarrett, my mother-in-law. My beautiful wife, two beautiful daughters, grandsons, brothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, nieces, good friends from Monticello, other brother-in-laws, and sister-in-laws up there. And I just want to give my appreciation to everybody. You know, what I forgot basically to say is right in the book. My biography, or whatever you want to say. And I'm very proud of what my teammates and I accomplished. 2 state tournaments, coming into second in 1968. Probably one of the best basketball teams I've ever seen. Led by the great Frank Russ. What a pleasure. I'm not a public speaker, but, you know, I do get a little emotional at times. And I'm a big, strong guy. But when it comes to this stuff, I get a little soft. So many great athletes out there. I appreciate you all. You all form a Hibbing Blue Jackets, the big blue and white. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here and supporting us. I guess that's all I have to say. My biography's in the blue book. I'm also awful proud of what we get. I thank my teammates, I thank my coaches. They're also great. Nurses, James, please call me. You know, it's a funny thing. That's all I think about is my high school days again. You know, 56 years ago, whatever. That's all I wake up in the morning, go to bed at night, and all I do is think about my teammates, my classmates. It's just weird. And hey, that's what life is all about. Your friends, the people you get to know, what's officiating, with being out in the public eye, things of that nature. Again, you know what? I'm hungry, so I'm going to get out of here.
Let's run the Hall of Famer, Mr. Hibbing, something. Our next inductee completes a total Hall of Fame induction for the entire Hibbing family. A great Hibbing family. A family that is known throughout Hibbing forever, quite frankly. And I'm talking about Michael Tinter. He completes the Tinter family all being inducted into the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, along with his brother Rick, who is here, brother Tom, sister Kathy, and now it's Michael's turn. It's so richly deserved. Mike Tinter, class of 1970, was a 10-time winner across 3 different disciplines: football, basketball, and track and field, making him a well-rounded competitor. Mike was named the Hibbing's varsity basketball team as an 8th grader. As a center, he was a unanimous selection to the All-District 28 basketball team, a member of the All-Tri-State team, and the IRC All-Conference team 1968, 69, 69, 70. Mike is a member of the 500-plus career point club, 797 to be exact, and was a 4-year letter winner. Mike was also a 3-year letter winner in track and field, where he 7 shot put championship, as well as both shot put and discus championships in the 1970 IRC and District 28 tournaments. He was also the 1970 state tournament runner-up in shot put. Despite his many accomplishments in basketball and track and field, Mike's favorite sport was football. And his performance on the gridiron reflected that. Mike excelled at 4 positions: linebacker, kicker, quarterback, and fullback, and received many accolades throughout his career, including Iron Range Conference top scoring honors in 1969 with 71 points, All-State first team at 2 positions, linebacker and kicker, and in 1970, U.S. High School All-State All-Regional honors. All-American by the All-American Report. He was also named to the 1968 and 1969 Iron Range All-Conference football teams and was a 3-year letter winner. Mike's talents didn't go unnoticed outside of the Iron Range. Upon graduation, he received inquiries from many Division I and Division II schools. Additionally, Mike received an invitation to try out for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Minnesota Twins, and received a minor league offer from the Kansas City Royals, all despite not having played baseball since Little League. The Royals chief scout at the time even declared that Mike had a better arm than anyone in the Kansas City organization at that time. After graduation from high school and enrolling at Hibbing State University, Mike returned home and continued to contribute to Hibbing athletics by becoming both an assistant coach and an assistant coach for the Blue Jackets, as well as the defensive coordinator for the Hibbing Community College Cardinals football team, who finished second in the nation in 1994. Blue Jacket pride. Great teammates, great friends, lifelong memories. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming officially to the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, Mr. Mike Tinker.
Thank you, everybody. I remember playing here basketball. I wish I was standing on that free throw line right now with no time left on the clock. 5,000 screaming fans all on their feet. Me needing to see the free throw to tie the game. I feel much more comfortable doing that than I do speaking like this. You know, I was very fortunate to play on great teams. I played positions that received a lot of attention. In football, I ran the ball, I passed the ball, I kicked the ball. But much of my success depended on the 10-yard pass. It was the same in basketball. I was the center. A lot of the plays ran through me. But I didn't have to bring the ball up the court or break a press. I just got to go into the basket, rebound, and get a few points. But like football, basketball is a team game. What honors I received on the field or the court would have happened without great teammates like Johnny Perkins, Jimmy Fina, George Spanish, ended up in the World Football League, Fred Slotter, Jimmy Anderson, and the late Tom Kaiser and Mark Magny, who left us way too early. I'm sure all of my fellow inductees probably feel the same. I don't think any of us play for awards or recognition or honors. We play, and I play to compete, to win, to represent the Blue Jackets, to represent the hometown. We all gave 100%. That being said, I feel honored and humbled to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, my 11-year-old grandson, Jacob, is sitting in the audience tonight. Jake dreams of being the next O'Connor or Dela Cruz or Ant Edwards. When I was his
tonight. What makes me feel so good about receiving this award is that in a couple of years, Jake will be in high school, walking down the halls, and be able to see the plaque and say, hey, that's my pops. So keep up the good work, Jake, and keep reading. Before I finish here tonight, the two people responsible for me being here, my daughters, Jennifer and Jessica, they're the ones that got the ball rolling for me to be nominated. They know that it wasn't for me. I would never have done it, but they took the ball, took charge. But to see them in the audience, their husbands, Scott and Rob, and grandson Jake, make this day extra special. Thanks to my family, my friends, for all the many special text messages and the many handshakes I received in the last 2 months. And I want to again thank the Hall of Fame committee and Julie. Thank you.
So nice round of Hall of Famer, Mr. Rankin. Our final inductee this afternoon, Peter Zambrano. Peter Zambrano, class of 1989, was born in Hibbing in June of 1971 to Leonora and Adolfo Zambrano, and was the last of 5 siblings to graduate from Hibbing High School, including Louis, Maria, Sylvia, and Joe. All were active and successful in athletics, marching band, under fellow Hall of Fame inductee Art Hill, and many other community activities. As immigrants from Colombia, South America, Leonora and Adolfo were the inspiration for Peter and all of his siblings' future successes. His parents instilled a strong work ethic in both athletics and academics for all their children, and led by example. Adolfo was a PhD metallurgical engineer for Hannah Mining, and Leonora was a homemaker. While the kids were young, after the kids went to college, Leonora returned to school and became a nurse. Peter began his running career at Copland Elementary School, running races during lunch, 2 laps around the property for teacher and future coach John Carney. Once at the Lincoln Junior High, he began running distance events in cross country and track and field. His high school running career was shaped by multiple coaching legends from Hibbing, including youth coach John Carney and previous Hall of Fame inductees Milan Knezevich and George Becky Smilovich. Importantly, Peter credits his success primarily to distance running coach Dan Fuller, who was ahead of his time as a true player's coach. Coach Fuller trained side by side with the team, building confidence through high expectations and accountability. Peter captained multiple teams, won multiple regional championships, and participated in several Minnesota State High School Championship events. In his junior year, he placed 5th in the state 3,200 meter championship, and in his senior year, placed 3rd at the state cross-country championships, 2nd in the state 1,600 meter championship, and was the 1989 state champion in the 3,200 meter race. Peter went on to run Division I cross-country and track and field at the University of Wyoming, where he met his future wife, Carol. Peter and Carol reside in Edina and have 2 adult children, Nico and Ayla. Peter thanks his many teammates, his older siblings, for paving the path for his own success. His parents were the example of hard work, and all of his coaches mentioned above. Finally, he thanks the supportive community of Hibbing, which he took great pride in representing, especially at the state championship races in the Twin Cities. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in officially welcoming and inducting to the Hibbing High School Hall of Fame, Mr. Peter Zambrano.
well. Dan, thank you for hosting the events this evening, and James, please for putting this together. I want to start by thanking my siblings that Dad nicely outlined in the introduction. And really, I'm the youngest of five, so for those of us who had older siblings, you knew that they paved the way for you. My siblings certainly did that in both athletics and academics. So Louis, Maria, Sylvia, and Joe were really the people who inspired my athletic career for certain. And my parents, as was noted earlier, they held us to a high standard both in athletics. They enjoyed that, but it was really about academics. And so those were two high bars to hit. And so I chose, I figured I couldn't do both, so I just focused on athletics, and I didn't worry so much about the academic side. But we all enjoyed all the activities here, and I know earlier this month, Mark Hill, band director, legendary band director, Hibbing, passed recently. And I want to say that all of us played in the high school band and traveled in the high school band. That was a really special piece of growing up in Hibbing as well. I want to thank my wife, Carol, who's here with me today, and our two kids who couldn't be here for the same reason Scott Snella mentioned. They're busy with college and first jobs and that kind of stuff. But Carol, I'm really excited that she's here in particular, because all these years she's been hearing, we've been married 32 years, and she's been hearing that, you know what, up in Hibbing, I'm a little bit of a big deal. And so maybe I can finally, shovel up something behind that story. There's other people here, Nancy Erickson, a great family friend. I see her up in the stands there. Obviously some high school classmates that I had here that were friends of mine, and some friends from down in the cities, Jack Sullivan and his son Mason. But, Carol, I'm really excited that once this is done, as far as the big deal thing, I'll be able to introduce you to Andrea Nicoselli and Scott Sandlin, who are really heroes for Hibbing, because I always told Carol after a while, she lived here for 32 years, and she's lived with me here in Minnesota, and she said, if you're not a hockey player, and you're not Bob Dylan or Kevin McHale, I don't know if you're a big deal for Hibbing. I want to thank three people really being me tonight. The first two being my parents. So Leonor and Adolfo Zambrano, both passed in the last few years, but some of you may know a little bit about their story. They were both immigrants from Colombia, South America, and from a small town, not very different from Hibbing in terms of size, but it was in the interior of Colombia along the Magdalena River. It's actually a World UNESCO Heritage Site, so it's an unbelievably beautiful historic city. And they didn't go back there, but instead came to Hibbing. And climate-wise, you couldn't find a different place. But from a community standpoint, they found a great home here. My mother was a nurse. My father got his PhD at the School of Mines in Colorado. And they were all set to head back to Columbia. And my mom said, listen, the kids are doing great. And there's great opportunities here. We should stay. And his family legend goes through the stories. My dad was like, we have to pay back all the school loans. They paid for us to come here. And my mom, who was kind of the rudder of the family ship, said, we'll pay you back dollar for dollar for staying. And so that's what we ended up in Hibbing. They raised their kids here for, obviously, 20 years. And, I'm certainly honored to be here tonight to receive this induction, but I'll be really transparent to let you know I'm really here to honor my parents. They were so proud to be from Hibbing. They took great pride in this community, and so I'm here for them as well. Lastly, the other person I want to thank, of course, is my high school coach, Dan Puller, who is here tonight. I had great coaches, as noted earlier, John Carney, the legendary Nicholas Malinich, and Milan Knezovich. But Dan took a little bit of all the good things from those individuals. So, from Pecky and Milan, he took some of that hard-nosed toughness, no question. And so he held us to a high standard, no question. But he also gave us opportunities to learn about leadership, learn about the mental side of
I won't get into the details, but I just thought I needed a few extra beverages during high school to get through the day. And I can neither confirm nor deny what was in those beverages, but I was suspended. So I got suspended from high school. And of course, you can imagine how that went over in the neighborhood household. Parents were not really happy, but I was more worried about Dan and Milan and Becky. And so Dan took me up to their office, and Milan and Becky, just basically looked right through me and said, "Would you want this punk," or whatever they probably said back in the day. Mouton is what the message would have said. And so, and Dan said, "Listen, I don't know what we're going to do, but you're going to have to miss some events. You're going to be suspended for at least 3 events." So I was worried about all the details of what's going to happen this week. We have some big meets coming up, regional meet. And as I mentioned earlier, we did all kinds of activities, right? So on Thursday, I had a 9th grade band concert. And sure enough, before the band concert starts, Chet Johnson, the 9th grade band teacher, comes up to me and he looks right through me as if he's running this bitch. And he says, "Listen, we have 4 numbers tonight. You're going to have to sit out the first 3. And so, as a percussionist in the band, that means missing a few cymbal crashes, hitting the cowbell maybe once or twice. And the 4th number was a drum solo. I still got to do the drum solo, but I served my 3-game suspension from my 9th grade band competition. So I don't know what you said, Dan. I don't know what you said to the administration, but somehow I didn't miss any track and field for getting to go to school. So, lastly, again, in honor of my parents, I know that they would want me to finish by sincerely thanking the community of Hibbing. All of you know it's a great place to grow up, and I travel for business. I travel and meet with people across this country in most major cities. And when I do, invariably, whether it's small talk before or after a meeting, people always ask, "So, where are you from?" And when they ask that question, it's like opening up a floodgate. I cannot wait to tell them about what it was like growing up in Hibbing, Minnesota. And they start asking about Bob Dylan, Kevin McHale, and all this stuff. And I've just got such great stories to tell. But I want to tell you the biggest thing I share with them is before there was the term the melting pot, Hibbing truly was built as an immigrant community. And obviously I know for many of you speaking tonight, that goes back many generations. But I can tell you my parents felt that immigrant spirit. They loved being immigrants in this town. And that was their story. And it's certainly my story now. So, thank you.
So today's round for Peter Zambrano in high school. Closing, I'd just like to give some special thanks here to Milt Ferrari, Frank Gavin, Keith Turner, Renee Sephora, Rich Aldridge, Sibley Handyman, Jane Please, Becky Bensemacher, Sunrise Bakery, Mike's Pub, the City Hibbing Memorial Building staff are getting everything ready. Terry Anderson, Nick Arola, Express Print, and the Hibbing Public School Board of Education. And also to James Please, the Hall of Fame Committee Chair. Let me just say that everyone that's been inducted here this afternoon, you're all special. You're all heroes of Hibbing. This is the 11th class being inducted. And know that all of you are the epitome and truly exemplify Blue Jacket pride and community pride. Like Peter said, with him not being born and raised here and growing up here, have the opportunity to grow up here and participate and get educated in Hibbing and participate in Blue Jacket sports. Yeah, it's a special community. It truly is. So, all of us are Blue Jackets, you always will be. You carry that with you all your life, and you do. When people talk to you about it, you be with pride, because you should. It's a special place. It's a historic place. Think of everything that's happened just underneath this roof, but also on the football field and the basketball courts and the tennis courts and the swimming pools. History is made always, and memories are made even better. So, to Dennis Chess and his family, Pat Furlong, Dave Womack, Laura Heck, Martin Kleppman, the curling trio, Joe Roberts, Russ, Scott Sandelin, Andrea Nichols-Seeley, Gary Sullivan, Mike Taylor, and Peter Sobrano. Congratulations.